always happens at the worst time. It's the hottest day of the year and you begin to panic as you have no idea what to do. It's 85 degrees inside your house. You call a technician, but they can't make it out until the next day. What do? Residential air conditioning has become more and more of a necessity in our society, with fewer and fewer homeowners truly understanding the process that makes it happen. My father has worked in the HVAC trade for 30 years now, and myself, I've worked full-time for 2 years. I understand the importance of residential air conditioning and the importance of having an informed homeowner. By understanding the process, not only can you lead a technician in the right direction, you can handle simple fixes on your own, and you can protect yourself from greedy companies trying to force equipment on you that you don't need. Throughout, we will discuss the 4 main components of a refrigeration system, what is a refrigerant, and how to handle some simple diagnostics on your own. Now that we understand the importance of learning the refrigeration system, what are the 4 main components? According to the article, Systematic Assessment of Working Fluid Mixtures for Absorption Refrigeration Based on Process and Sustainability Indicators from 2021, the 4 main components of the refrigeration system are the compressor, the metering device, the evaporator, and the condenser. First, we'll start with the compressor. The compressor is the heart of the refrigeration system. It is located in the center of your condensing unit outside and it has a piston located in the center that causes a push and a pull. This is the driving force that moves the refrigerant all the way throughout your system. It is also what is responsible for turning low pressure refrigerant into high pressure refrigerant. This is important because it greatly increases the efficiency of what the refrigerant's next job is after it passes through the compressor. Next, we'll talk about the metering device. The metering device is located at the end of the small copper tube down in your basement above your furnace. The metering device's sole job is to slow the flow of refrigerant to turn it from a high pressure down back into a low pressure. This is important because it will greatly increase the efficiency of the refrigerant's next job. Next, we'll talk about the evaporator. The evaporator is located directly on the other side of the metering device. The evaporator is an A-shaped coil with small copper tubes that wind back and forth throughout. This allows the refrigerant to be within the evaporator for an extended period of time. In the evaporator is where the actual removal of the indoor heat occurs. Next, we'll talk about the condenser. The condenser is the unit outside that I'm sure we're all aware of. The condenser has a frame around it of coils, just like the evaporator, with small copper tubes that wind back and forth, allowing the refrigerant to spend an extended period of time in the condenser as well. It has a fan mounted on the top that pulls air from the inside of the machine and blows it out, removing heat from the refrigerant. Now that we understand the 4 main components, I'd like to talk about what is a refrigerant. In the 2021 book, Modern Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, authors explain a refrigerant is a working fluid used in the refrigeration cycle where they undergo a repeated change from vapor to liquid and back again. First, I'd like to talk about the liquid phase. The liquid phase is considered a dry sponge. The liquid phase starts as it goes in the evaporator and runs back and forth through the small copper tubes of the evaporator. As this is happening, your furnace blower is pulling hot, unconditioned air from your house through the evaporator. As it runs through the evaporator, the liquid refrigerant absorbs the heat out of the air. So now as the air passes through the evaporator, it's cool, conditioned air ready to be dispersed throughout your home. As the liquid refrigerant absorbs this heat, it boils off into a vapor. So now this vapor carrying the heat from inside your house is pulled by the compressor back outside to your condensing unit. As it enters your condensing unit, it begins to wind through the small copper tubes within your condensing unit. The condensing fan then pulls the air from the inside of the machine and blows it out. As it does this, it's pulling the heat out of the refrigerant and expelling it into the outdoor air. As it does this, it is condensing that vapor back down into a liquid, and the compressor pushes it back to the metering device where it enters the evaporator to absorb more heat out of your home. Now that we understand what a refrigerant is, I'd like to talk about how to diagnose a few simple issues within your system. According to the article, Repeatable Assessment of Load-Based Testing Methodology for Residential AC Equipment from 2022, the efficiency of residential equipment can fluctuate around 12.2% due to simple changes in humidity. One of the main calls you receive in the HVAC trade is on days where the heat index is around 110 degrees. And the complaint is simply that the equipment will just not keep up. Well, it won't. The equipment is not designed to handle such extreme heat. It is more designed for moderate temperatures and moderate heat. But as we see more of these days around the 110 degree heat index, I wouldn't be surprised to see the design of equipment change to handle that temperature at a small sacrifice of the moderate temperatures. Now, one of the main issues within the refrigeration system is you're just getting warm air blowing out of your vents. The first thing you'll do is you'll go downstairs to where your evaporator coil is above your furnace and check for any signs of ice or water. If you're getting ice or water, your evaporator coil has frozen up and it is either a bad furnace blower motor or a slight leak and you are slightly low on refrigerant. You'll go up to your thermostat, turn your AC to off, and turn your fan motor to on. If the fan in the furnace comes on, you can rule that out, and it is most likely going to be slightly low on refrigerant. Now, while you wait for a technician to come out and check and recharge your equipment, leave that furnace fan on, and as it thaws your evaporator, it will create a cooling sensation throughout your home as you wait. Now, if it is not iced up, you will need to go outside to your condensing unit if you're still getting warm air, and you will check the temperature of the air blowing out of the condenser fan. This hot air should be very hot. It should not be the temperature of the outside. If you're getting cool air blowing out, you'll look down at your two copper tubes entering your condensing unit. The large copper tube should have a cool sensation to it, and it might even have a little bit of water on it. The smaller copper tube, be careful, it should be warm, not hot. If that is hot and the large copper tube is cold and you are getting cool air blowing out of the top, it is most likely that you have a larger leak in your system and will need to have a technician come out to repair your system. Understanding the refrigeration system can go a long way in improving your life. By understanding the process of refrigeration, not only can you lead a technician in the right direction, you can handle simple issues on your own, and you can protect yourself from companies trying to force equipment on you that you do not need. I have covered the four main components, what is a refrigerant, and how to handle some simple fixes on your own. With a very basic knowledge, you can save yourself the panic of the unknown and gain more independence in your journey of home ownership.